Excellent. Well, welcome everybody. I'm Lewis Todd, has been said. I'm council commissioner. I lead a team of 160 plus unit volunteers that visit units, and you may get visits hopefully every month or so by commissioners, and I lead that team. Also, we work with units around membership renewal and unit renewal time. So we got a big change with how membership renewal works this year. And that's why we're on this call. We want to make sure you are aware of how membership renewal works this year. It's going to be very different. And Ben Buckaloo is my paid professional counterpart. He's the director of field service. He leads a team of about 20 plus paid professionals that work in the field with you guys. You know them as district executives. They report to Ben. We also have, as we mentioned earlier, Donna Carr. I like to call her the rock star registrar.
There you go. That sounds
So we
all
have
right.
a number of slides to go through. We'll kind of let the slides
Yeah.
run through it, but we're going to have ample time for questions. And feel free to drop questions in the chat as we go. And
Yep.
My man Richard Fallon will be watching the chat and kind of helping us kind of keep up to date on the questions so we don't lose track of them. And then we'll go back and circle back at the
Yep.
end of the presentation.
All right. I haven't seen any emojis. I may have seen a little bit, but let's operate on most of the folks on the call might have heard about this, but they're here to learn more. So we're going to operate that way and talk about this first slide. And Donna, be ready. Your slide is coming up with unit renewal. So tonight we're going to talk about not only the new membership renewal auto self-pay, or let me make sure I use that right, family self-pay. We're also going to walk you through a little bit of how your unit recharter happens and also show you some of the inside workings of different reports that you can generate as a Key 3 delegate within your unit. So as you see on the screen, with the new 12-month subscription model, now if you're not aware, when people sign up as effective August 1 last year, they sign up for 12 months. And so anybody signs up in August 1st anything past August 1st last year, their membership is good until July 31st. So some people are actually about to expire here in 7 days. Same thing goes for adults. And so with that new model, there's also a new program that allows the families to self-pay, which means they'll get a link in an email, and I'll walk you through that. And they follow that link, and they are able to renew their child's membership, their adult membership for their national membership fees through an online system. Now, in theory, that sounds great, and I do believe that's the future. It is a progressive movement, and the ideal situation is eventually it takes the burden and act of you as Key 3 delegates in collecting national fees. Now, it does come with a little caveat. Anytime a change like this happens, it does require a little some growing pains. And so we're trying to work through that. I do think the end of the tunnel is brighter, and I think it's progressive for us, and I embrace it. And so I encourage y'all to embrace it and just know, be patient. We are here to serve you and help you and make sure it's as easy as possible. But just wanted to give you that preface there. There is a piece, if you as a unit want to not do family self-pay and do unit pay, that is an option. We try our best when we roll things out not to require certain, like it's this way or the highway. So if you still want to do a unit pay, that is possible. And that means that you are going to still collect the membership fees and also your dues, and then turn around and pay it in the system. And we'll walk you through that. So that's basically the gist of the new system. They rolled it out last year, and this will be the first year that members are renewing online. And so what Donna has done, we're going to first hit the unit renewal process, and we have a few slides that I'm going to move us through, Donna. knowing that we've kind of added significant slides because that's what people were asking for, seeing screenshots. So I'm going to advance it. Tell me to slow down if you need to, but Donna, you're up. I'm going to let you talk about the unit renewal process. And I got your first slide up there with a screenshot. Donna, are you good to go?
Yeah, that doesn't look like my first slide, but anyway.
But yeah, it's one of your slides. I did take out your couple of first slides. Yes.
Oh, well, thanks. You got to warn me when you do these things. All right.
Hey, Donna, I took out the first few slides. Sorry. Let's move. Keep going.
Okay. The unit renewal process is going to be a whole lot easier this year because when you are doing that, you are only renewing really your key leaders and the number of youth and the number of adults. And it's very simple to get through, very easy to do, and it is always going to be due December 31st unless you are a new unit and started at a different time in the year. Then you will have whatever 12 months from the time you started will be your renewal date. But anyway, it's very easy to do. You go into your MyDot Scouting account, and in the upper left-hand corner, there is a menu button. You click on that. You go to your organization and find the unit that you are renewing. And then you will scroll down to Organization Manager, and you'll click on the unit renewal, and it will come up with a screen. It doesn't look like the one Ben's got up there. That's the one
like
that's
that one?
paid. Nope.
All right. This is what I got.
Okay. Anyway, it's going to have your list of officers, and it's going to tell you you can make changes there. But from what I'm hearing from across the country, from other registrars that have already gone through this process, you need to go in and make any position changes before you even start. And then go in and click that button and make sure everything's right. And then it will give you the option to go through and you can pay online. So that's real hard, right? That's the one that only costs you $100 a year. And if everything is in there, it's right, you've paid, your money clears and everything, the system will automatically post it. So you won't have to wait on us to go through and make sure that everything's in there correctly. So is that easy enough for everybody?
That part I think is simple. Yep.
Yep. And Ben is showing you the receipt there of what it will look like when you pay online. And you can do the credit card, or you can do an e-check, or you can choose to pay at council. And you just click that button and print it out, and you'll need to print it out and bring it in, and along with a check or a credit card to pay the $100. And once you do that, then we will go in and we will start posting your unit. Any questions on that?
I mean, we'll have time at the end to, if you don't get your question in the chat, you can ask it verbally if you need to.
Okay.
I think that as Donna was saying, the unit renewal part, the unit recharter is much easier now. It's the membership renewal that is a little bit more complicated. And those are the next few slides coming up. Before I let Donna jump into her slides, and I think I may have found the error on the slides, Donna, but note that if you're a unit that is a council funded unit, which we do have units that are either underneath our Scout Reach program, and it's mainly for families and communities that cannot afford scouting, they're at a $30 rate. Those are still done. I want to say the word's not manually, but I'll say it, but that's where you need to work with your executive and your commissioner to do your charter, your membership renewal that way. Those are not built into the system and do not participate in the membership renewal. So if you're that unit, it's good to learn this because we're trying to move as many of those units into traditional units. So just be aware of that. I think this slide, Donna, says a lot of what I kind of mentioned in the beginning. Right. About the new 12 months. And so the next couple slides are where a unit can, or what is this what a family would see?
This is what
Yes.
the family would see. Now, the family is going to receive several notices, and Ben will go over the timeline
Yep.
with you in just a few minutes. But the family will go in, or you, if you're renewing yourself, will go into your MyDot Scouting. And on the landing page, you're going to click on My Applications. And you will simply go in there and you're going to click on the renewal buttons and everything. The renewal button, which is to the far right, you can see where the red arrow is, and it gives you the opportunity there to go ahead and pay for everything. But you can, before you even get to that point, you can go through the very first button. I can't see it, my page is too small, and opt out of any things that you're registered for that you don't want to be a part of anymore. In other words, if you're part of, let's just say you're a district member at large and you're also a merit badge counselor and you're in 4 other units, but you only want to be in 1 unit, so you can opt out of the units that you don't want to renew. And you can opt out of any things that you are signed up there, and then you will only pay 1 fee no matter what. But the very end where you do my renewals is where you're going to click and you're going to pay for your renewal.
I just
And the
advanced it.
one,
Can you see that?
yes,
I think this is where you go
I'm
through and
trying, I'm
select your
not,
primary and what you
yes,
were talking about. Okay.
the,
I'm gonna keep
yes,
us moving.
the one that you want to be your primary, where your paid registration shows, that's where you're going to select it and move forward.
And these are just some leader requirements that it asks you to know
Yes,
about, be aware of. And
yes.
there's your summary of fees. Please note
Mhm.
that it automatically checks Boys Scouts Life magazine, but you can untoggle that, uncheck that
Yes,
if you're doing it digitally.
good
And then
point.
that's where
Thank
you
you, Ben. I had
put
forgotten
your
that
billing
part.
information in, and then place your order. And then so that's what the families are going to see as they renew. And then the next
Correct.
one coming up, Donna, is the unit paid member renewal. I'm going to
Uh-huh.
trust, I think that's all you. I'll let you walk us through that.
Okay, this one gets to be a little more entertaining because I think they have fixed it. At one point, they had said they were only going to make this where you could go in and pick either all adults or all youth, but you couldn't pick and choose between the two. So they may have upgraded that, but we are finding that there are a few hiccups in this right now. So please let me know if you have any errors, if you go in and try to do this, so that I can report it to National right away so they can get to working on it. Sorry, that's
All
my
right.
community service plug. All
Yep.
right. So,
And while you're on this screen, before we get into the unit pay,
mhm,
remind me, so you see above the renewal payment where it says auto approve renewals, and you have the option to check that. And
mhm.
what are we as a council? Are we allowing for units to allow renewals to auto approve?
There is a caveat on there, and again, it goes back to what I said about the renewal. As long as everything's in there, I think the charter org still has to sign off on it. But I'm not 100% on that. Richard, you may know the answer to that for sure. But anyway, um, if everything is there and the numbers match what you're showing on your roster, et cetera, it will just automatically go through and we don't have to do anything
Well,
to post your renewal.
I'm
Yeah.
actually
And to answer
talking,
your question, we're okay with that right
I'm
now.
going back. Yeah. So I'm going back to family pay, and the way it's kind of set up. When a family elects to renew their membership,
Mhm.
it will then send a notification to the key 3. Hey, Bobby Jones has renewed his membership in your unit, and it must be approved by a member of the key 3. you can avoid approving individual member renewals by clicking this checkbox on the settings screen, right? That's right above the renewal payment, which
Okay.
will then make it where you don't have, have to mess with that.
Yep.
Right. This
All
will be
right.
the first time you can actually approve online membership or have it automatically approved while you're doing renewal. So we'll see how that goes.
Okay. Are we good to move on to the next slide?
Yes, but no, you didn't tell them which button to push there if they're going to do their own. So you're going to click on the one that says that the unit will pay for renewal applications if you want the opportunity to choose who's going to pay directly and who's going to be chartered by the unit. And when you click it, you've got to make sure you go down and hit save. If you don't, it's going to revert to your default settings.
Okay.
So question, the unit chooses whether every member will renew themselves or whether they will renew all of the members as a unit.
Correct.
Okay, so
And you can also, if you wanted to, like a question some units have, or hey, we pay for all adults, so we want to handle that payment. So you can individually check individual members if you want all your adults to be unit paid, and then that way your scouts can then renew automatically or auto self-pay.
So can I choose that I want to pay for, say, these 10 adults, but the rest of the adults and scouts pay for themselves?
Yes.
It's not all adults or all scouts or all
Correct.
units. I can pick and choose. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And then the system will tell you also who's paid and who hasn't. So like if you want to kind of see your families, oh, these families have already renewed, it'll show in the things, which I think we have some screenshots of that, but we can definitely cover that in a little bit. All right, I'm gonna keep us moving, Donna.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. The next page is your roster. And this is where you will pick and choose who you're going to renew and who you're not going to renew if you're going to do the unit pay.
All right.
So keep going. And then you're going to get the opportunity to review your batches, which you will click on that button that says unit paid membership renewal batches and see what you have got, because this is going to become a year-round thing. So you will probably be checking to see who's due to renew each month as this keeps going forward, and renewing them as they're getting due. So you'll see your batches as you pay for them there.
All right.
Next. All right. Okay, I didn't look at this screen too close. Let me get my notes
So your
caught up.
notes say this is where you go. It's like I got notes here. It says this is where you decide whether you want Scout Life, and you can actually remove it. And once you're done, you click the renewal orders, and then this is where the itemization kicks in, where it tells you how many traditional youth, how many Scouts Life. You see council fees on there. Atlanta Area Council doesn't have council fees. That's a whole nother presentation, but a lot of councils institute fees to cover costs. But we, as of today and as of the future, as of what I see, we don't have those fees. So that's where you would look at the summary and then pay with your saved method, and then you're done. So reporting. Oh, did you have something else, Donna?
Nope.
All right. So in reporting, this is where, Lewis, I'm going to jump ahead a little bit.
Yeah.
Where in our recommendations, we talk about getting familiar with the reporting stuff that's now in the system where you can see things. And Donna is more of an expert on this than us, but we have some slides that I'll advance through, and Donna, you can chime in. I'll do my best to keep us moving and look at the notes. But as an E3 delegate, you get access to these reports. It looks like the member opt-out report. Member opt-out, those are members who go in and say, no, I do not want to be members anymore. And then Donna will, key 3 delegates, be able to opt out people as well if they do unit pay.
Yes, they
Okay.
can. But right now it's not working. They are working to get it fixed before
Okay.
we go live in a couple of months.
Yep. And as I mentioned earlier, there's growing pains on both sides as we fix this. I always like to joke, Lewis and I, like we feel like we've just now really gotten good at recharter with the system. I thought it was great. The last few years have really ramped up. So we have a similar team that are working on that on the national level that's constantly looking at this and taking feedback and making it better. The other report, members due to renew. So for example, if you went in there and ran this report right now, you would find anybody who joined in August and you would find anybody who joined in September because they're within that 60-day window. And then the last one there highlighted is members who have renewed. And what I learned, I don't think it's updated yet. It doesn't show them as renewed until their expiration date, but they're working on changing that. So it would show at point of sale. So when somebody renews it and puts in their credit card, it would actually show them then. But as right now, I haven't tested it this week, but it will not show it until August 1 for those who renew expire July 31st. So those are 3 reports that I would get familiar with. And the good news is they can export into Excel. Just click that export to CV. Donna's done a great job of highlighting that, but export to the CSV. And it's a pretty easy document to read, or you can just look at it right here. And I've actually played with these on a council level. And so you get that access. On this one, Donna, this is the non-renewed membership report. Is this just showing it how it looks like in the
Right.
system? And then you can click
Yep.
that blue button and export it into Excel.
Right.
Same thing with the members opt-out report. So you'll be able to see it. So you don't have to spit it out in Excel. If you have like a 125 person unit, you might want to throw it in Excel, but you can see it right there on the
Right.
screen. So
And
we're
Ben,
evolving. Go ahead, Donna.
I would throw in there as well that if you want to take a look at it without going through the sort process or whatever you go through with Excel, your roster gives you the same information. It just may not be quite as clear as if you
Yeah.
sort one of these out.
Got it. Okay. And I believe this next slide, it's an awesome resource. If somebody, maybe Richard, do me a favor and pop that in the chat if you can throughout this time. I think that's the website. Is that the national website, Donna?
Yes.
Yeah, it has a lot of good information on there. It's got a very short video if you want to show that to like your troop or pack committee. It's like a minute and a half. It gives you a quick overview, but it also has frequently asked questions on that page. A lot of information, and pretty much every question you may have will be in that frequently asked questions page. I reference it. So just in a quick recap, you see on the screen there, renewal reminder, units can renew members during this time. So we mentioned that. 5 emails, which I'm about to go through the schedule with you about. There's a 2-month lap period. So when people, if they joined in August last year, they expired July 31st. There's 2 months, similar to the recharter process that you're accustomed to, where they'll remain on your rosters. And after those 2 months, that's when they drop. And then, as we mentioned, 12 months membership cycle is what we're operating on. So next, I'm going to run you through a little bit of what the communication looks like. And I'd be interested to know in the chat if y'all have received these communications. And while I'm going to give a chance for Lewis to talk, I'm going to look through and find some sample emails and throw them up on the screen. But here's what it looks like from a national standpoint. They've done a really good job of laying out a plan where starting 60 days out, your families, 60 days from their expiration date, they will receive an email stating that their membership is about to expire. It has their ID number on there. It has a link for them to click, and they can click that and be registered in like 5 minutes. It's pretty quick. Then they do a 30 days out, a 15 days out, 1 day out, and then a +7 days. Now, that's what National is doing. Working with Lewis and the team, we felt that the council needed to do some things as well. And so in addition to the national emails, we're doing twofold. We're sending an email to the leaders, letting them know, which you all should, hopefully y'all have gotten them. This is where I want to know in the chat if you've got, you can tell me I've got nothing. And it should have gone to a pack and troop committee chair, charter rep, and unit leader, meaning scoutmaster or cub master. If you've got them, please let me know and say, yes, I actually got this. If you haven't gotten anything, let me know. Or if you've gotten anything from national, just put that in the chat so we can have that. But we're doing emails. In addition, the other thing we're working on is text messages. And so for everybody that we have a working cell phone number, we're going to work through a text message service to remind people. Y'all know this. I get them. My daughters do swim team. I get reminders on email and I get text messages. And sometimes text messages work for me. Sometimes email works for me. But these are the communication pieces that we are adding into that. All right, Lewis, you're about up to walk us through the recommendations. And then that'll give us some time on the back end to answer any questions. But I'll throw up a few of there. I want Lewis, we've in talking with unit leaders, we've had some ideas of here's some recommendations that may help with this process. So Lewis, walk us through a few.
Yeah, thanks, Ben. And this whole process has come a long way since the old days when I was doing recharter, as we called it, with Pack 7 back in Hightower. So one thing is unit dues. So now that families can pay their registration fee direct to national, you really want to kind of think about, well, when's the best time to collect our unit dues? Because now they would technically be separate. Now, if you're doing unit pay, you can still kind of combine them, but remember, you'll have members renewing at different times of the year. So it's probably time to think about separating your dues collection from the registration cost anyway, because that registration fee will become due whenever their anniversary is, and you'll probably want to collect your unit dues in one time. So probably what else is important is I think it's a good idea to designate someone in the unit to kind of keep an eye on memberships that are up for renewal. And I saw a sample email today what the Key 3 gets. They're going to get a very nice report that shows on a monthly basis that shows members that are up for renewal, members that are who have opted out, members who have missed the opportunity to renew. So you'll have good information coming by email, but also reports as well. I also feel like this is probably an agenda item on your monthly troop committee meetings. Would be a great agenda item to cover. Take a look at a group to see who's coming up for renewals. But communicate. That's kind of the main thing. You got to let your families know that it's going to work differently this year, that the unit won't be collecting registration fees, and that it's not an end of the year necessarily activity to renew membership. What else, Ben? You're probably still looking.
Yeah, I'm balancing. I'm doing two things here. I was going to say, be sure to update your Be a Scout pin. And I see Warren on the call. He would love for everybody to do online registration. If you're not doing online registration, it saves you a lot of hassle.
There was a question, and there was a question earlier in the chat that basically said, do we have to do online registration? No, this whole new process. So for when you're doing your fall recruiting and recruiting new families, you do not have to do online registration, but I would recommend that you get in the habit of doing that, because it saves a lot of effort chasing paper down. Particularly for adults, when adults register online, it makes sure that they do YPT. It makes sure that they sign off for the background check. So it makes it all happen nice and neat.
Not only that, but it gets done faster instead of waiting on some 2 or 3 people to key punch a whole bunch of applications at one time. You can get them on your roster within 24 hours.
Yeah, think about it. It's a paper form that has to make its way to Donna Carr, and then it has to get key punched. So Donna's got a lot going on, and it could be a couple of days or more for that data to get in, whereas online registration is, almost immediate, as fast as they get the data put in and the fee paid. And
Yep.
it has to be approved. Adults have to be approved, of course, but
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of it. I understand
and
it's not for everybody, but it
and
definitely
and,
makes life easier.
and I think, just so you know what the PIN is, most of you, I hope, would know what it is, but if you're new to your position, you may not have been told by the person that you replaced. But you can go into the settings for your unit and set up, make sure your unit's information is in place. So unit number, charter org, the nights you meet, and where you meet. What that does is, if someone is looking to join Scouts and they don't go through a sign up, if they go online and use the tool that National has created to locate a unit near you, your pin has to be set up so that they can see a literal pin on the map that comes up when they search for a unit to join. So it's important to make sure that information is up to date.
Yep. The other thing, I know Lewis talked about it, but I really recommend you take a look at your dues structure. And sorry, Lewis, if you hit this, I was multitasking. But like if your normal dues are $250 and your families are self-paying the $85 membership fee, then ideally you're reducing your dues by the $85. I would think that's what's going to happen. We're not in the business of dictating to you what your dues are, and we never will. But you ought to that's just something to think about, so you're not double charging. And that helps with the situation of, oh, we got to collect twice. I'll tell you, we've been collecting for packs. For the most part, we've been collecting twice, because you do it at the sign-up night, and then you turn around and collect dues later, unless you're one of the packs that collects everything up front, which that's a possibility. It just depends on how you work it out with your pack. But those are recommendations. I was able to work this. I don't know how I was able to do it, but it's not going to be my best work. But I found and have on the screen now, this is a sample of what an email that comes from us on the national level. I'm sorry, on the council level, where it clearly states the ID. It says it's a position of a member, and then it has the links, and it has a blurb on there. If it's an adult leader, please go here to renew. But this is a message that your families will get from the council. And then this next one is the sample email of what comes from national. And it's a much cleaner email, not as much information on there, but that's what they'll get. So that's what we're showing, and wanted to show those two samples. Did we see anything in the chat where some people are getting emails?
Yeah.
All right, good. That's a good sign.
Yep, we got some.
Perfect. All right. What questions do you have? We've got about 15 minutes. If we need it, we don't have to take it. We may have some very smart people on here, intuitive, and they know everything, but we're here to help. We're here to answer questions.
Okay, so one more question on the renewal. So I've got the people who joined in August, so they're getting their message right now. If I, as a unit, want to pay for my people, I got to pay in August, pay in September, pay in October. I got to pay every month that people are renewed. I can't just pay everybody at once in December anymore, right?
Correct.
Yeah, theoretically, yes. If you have you do have that 2-month lapse that you want to keep from them coming out of the system. So like if you have some that let's see, what's my 2 months, so like an October thing, expiration, you could play that one a little bit, but yes.
I don't like to play with stuff like that. When the bill is due, the bill is due. We pay by the due date. Teach your kids proper personal management merit badge.
I like it. I like that embracement of it. And you're 100% right. Like, and listen, this is one of those things that I didn't have a choice on. And there's people in the world that want to fight stuff, and there's people in the world that say, hey, this is what we got to do. and hopefully everybody sees the vision of this, to where ideally it takes this element away from you as leaders, so then you can focus on program calendar and different things that you can focus on. It's going to take a couple of years, I get it, but I remember the first time we went to online recharter, I know I lost a few hairs, and a lot of people lost a few hairs, but you know what, we came out great. And I honestly do believe once this thing takes its course and happens the right way, I believe it's definitely going to remove a burden from not only the professional scouter, but also the unit leader when families, because we all have subscriptions, and when we want something, we renew it.
Hey, Ben.
So yeah, go ahead, Lewis.
Yeah. A lot of questions in the chat about how to get parents to sign up online and how does that work. And I could probably share screen and kind of drive through it, show it online real quick. So you want me to do that real quick?
You're talking about like just with using Be a Scout?
Be a Scout.
All right, don't get Warren started.
Let me do it. And Warren, if I get out of line, jump in.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with Be a Scout, man, it's a pretty cool tool to get people registered. Go ahead, Lewis.
So yeah, what you want to direct them to is Be a Scout, right? It's the name of the page. But if they just type in Join Scouts and hit search, it'll look what comes up. Boy Scouts of America Be a Scout homepage. So this is the homepage, and it says, okay, let's find a unit near you.
Let's see if your pack's up and running. Got Be a Scout.
They're in there. I went ahead and checked before I did this. So I put in my zip code, my old zip code. I selected Cub Scouts, clicked find a unit. And guess what? My old pack is the first one that shows up. How about that? So this is why it's important to have your PIN information in, set up in your Scout book. Is that right? Is it Scout book? So
no, my.scouting, not
my.scouting. Thank you. So here it is. It says, here's where we meet. Here's the name of the charter org. Online registration is available. So if I want to register, I just click on apply now. So if you're in a sign up night, you can tell your families to go and sign up by going to, Be a Scout, put in the zip code, look for pack 7, click the registration button. It's that easy. And then you pick youth or adult. I'm not going to go any further than this because it's basically just entering the online app at that point. So yeah, I would, it's very, very simple. And maybe we can, is there a online tutorial or something for Be a Scout that Richard, you could maybe?
No, I think Warren already has that lined up.
Yeah.
And Lewis, I just want to give you, I will create you a certificate. You are officially trained in training somebody on Be a Scout. That was excellent. Great job.
I have a question. I'm sorry to interrupt you guys. I have a question about that. So I'm working with a new girls troop, and what if you don't know your PIN? And I think Donna actually helped me this week to switch mine over because I registered under the pack instead of the troop. But when I looked at our troop information, she had to add the apply button and stuff, and there's no information, even though there's a boys troop there and all of that. So who do you need to talk to get all that information added to it?
Oh, you have to add it yourself, Ellen. And I will be more than happy to walk you through it if you get confused. But all you do is go into the organization manager for the unit in my.scouting.
Okay.
And select unit PIN, and then you can go in as one of the key 3 and update it however it needs to be. But
that makes so much more sense. Okay. I'm so sorry. I know we've exchanged so many emails. I'm so sorry about that. I'm just trying to get this up and running before we have any recruitment nights, and I don't want it to be any more complicated because I know I've had a heck of a time, and as like other people have. So
yeah.
But yeah, okay.
I was reading through the chats. LP, you want to have electronic signups instead of paper. let us know which district you're in. We can most likely make that happen. A lot of it starts with setting up your Be a Scout and working with your executive, getting your flyers to direct people to be a scout. And one of the tricky parts with doing electronic signups at schools is, as you know, they build structures to block cell phone reception, and sometimes you just have to be aware that if you're going to have an online sign up in person but do online registration, you got to set up near the windows so you have access to the internet or somehow tap into the Wi-Fi. But just got to be aware of that situation.
Yeah, Robert had a question, and just want to make sure. I see Richard answered it, but he asked if you are primaried with a unit that renews in December, but you're also registered with a troop that renews in August. When do I renew? Should I renew now? And it's basically doesn't matter when your units are renewing. It's all about when your membership expires. And more than likely, if you've been in scouting for 2 or more years, you're going to expire at the end of December.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and then you would just renew that one time, and that would take care of all the other positions.
Yep.
Right.
All right. Well, if you have a question, hit the raise your hand button. We're happy to stay on. As you're thinking, if you have questions, just know that Lewis has a team of commissioners that are ready and are trained on this and can help. We also have the team of district executives that are ready to help. So there's no wrong questions. There are no too many questions. So please let us know. We know that this is some change and that we are going to show grace and patience and work through this. And we're going to perfect it and make it good. So we're here for you. And that's why we have this. This video will be recorded. We're going to send it up and put it on the Atlanta Area Council YouTube channel. So if you go to YouTube and search Atlanta Scouts, you should see it. Don't get stuck on it. It's got a lot of good videos on there. Oh, there's some popcorn videos up there, Warren? I thought so. But there are a lot of tutorials. If you've ever sat on a Zoom with Bert Bender, all of his are up there. Membership recruiting, as we're right at that time. But a lot of good content and some inspirational videos on there as well if you need some. So thank you all for joining tonight. Last chance to ask the question, at least on this call. If
Ben?
not, yeah, go ahead, Donna.
I wanted to interject that if you get all that other help and all else fails and you want somebody just to sit and hold your hand while you go through this process, send me an email. Let's set up an appointment and you come in and I'll help you get through it.
Thank you, Donna. That's always helpful.
There's maybe 2 questions I might want to touch on. It's one, I think Aaron asked, can the troops still pay for adults if they sign up online? I don't know the answer to that.
Not if they sign up online. They have to complete the transaction. What they would have to do in that situation is print out the receipt and turn it into the unit treasurer, and the unit reimburse them. But the next time the unit can pay for it, but the initial one, no.
Yep.
Okay. And then last one, William had said, most families that haven't, so the most families that hadn't joined or that joined prior to, I think it was August 1, 2020 of 2023.
Right.
So anyone that joined prior to August 1 of 2023 will have the December 31st expiration. Anyone that joined after August 1 of 2023 will have a join date anniversary.
Yeah.
July 31st. Yeah.
That is correct. All right, I'm going to hit stop recording real quickly. Just so we can wrap this up.
I was going to highlight a few questions that were in the chat for the recording, just so that people can have them in the future in case they're not watching the chat. The default is family pay, not unit pay. So everything one's defaulted to family pay. You can select key 3 delegates as for your membership people to help look at the reports and all of that. And if someone opts out of their scout book emails, it is not going to affect opting out of these emails because it is pulling from the registration data, not scout book data. So those are some common questions in the chat.
Thanks, you, Richard. That would definitely help for the people rewatching this. So in conclusion, thanks everybody for spending 50 minutes with us. Can't do this without you. This is our third workshop and excited, but just want to conclude with just lending a thank you to you for all that you do in scouting. And hopefully as we get through this, it will become easier. Can't promise it won't be less than an hour a week, but we'll try to get it better. Thanks everybody. Thanks Lewis. Thanks Donna, Richard, Warren for being on. Thanks everybody. Have a great night.
Good night.